Alright, hey YouTube. Got a quick little live video for you guys here. So, first of all, if you remember the last drug scenarios that I had, I've seen her twice since then, and she didn't seem high both of those times. I'm not positive though. I don't know much about drugs at all. Like, asking me if I do drugs is pretty much a joke if you know me, because I don't. Why would I? But, so I'm a little bit hopeful for her that she's not doing it anymore, but I found meth. So I'm walking home from my job at Dollar Tree. Just got off work on this beautiful Sunday. And then I look down on the ground and I see a little tiny blue bag with what kind of looks like powder and a little bit of salt crystals. So I pick it up. Not exactly sure what it is, but I think this must be like meth or something. I've seen that in like TV shows. Usually comes in a tiny little bag. But I'm not sure, and I don't want to bother the police if it's just a weird little bag of salt or something. And I thought it kind of looks like salt, so I wonder if it's bath salts. I don't even know what those look like. For me, that I'm used to them being like the Epsom salt in the big bags that you pour in the bathtub to soak in. Sometimes they're scented, but I don't know what it would be like if you were doing that as a drug, unless it literally is just off the counter Epsom salt for the bathtub. But I texted manager at the store. We'll call her T. That's her initial. Texted T. Asked her to confirm it was drugs before I called the police. She asked me to bring it there, so I was pretty much just across the parking lot, not too hard. I walked back, showed it to her. Then she said, yep. Actually, both managers that were there right now, T and S, they both said, yep, it's meth. So I called the police, and then they got my info, asked me to wait there if I could, because they actually called me. I called them once, not 911, just the police number, and they got some info from me. Then she had to call back, get a little more info, make it easier for them to find me, like what stuff I'm wearing. So I told them about my bag there and my bag down here. And then, I did ask, if I could keep walking because I'm kind of walking home. But they said it'd be better if I could wait. So I said, yeah, I'll wait. And they said, if you have to, then you can go. Catch up with you. But it wasn't too long for them to come. No other emergencies came up. They came. Took the bag. They asked some questions, like one of the questions they asked that I thought was interesting is, are they your drugs? And I said, no, sir, they are not my drugs. Or something along those lines. I forget exactly how I said it. Because it makes me think of a video I watched where even if the police don't necessarily have evidence against you, and I don't know if it's exactly this way for Utah or not, but the video is saying how they first of all try and make friends with you, offer you, a drink, get you a little more warm and friendly, and then they start closing in on you. You have a chair that just sits there. They have a chair that swivels around, and it's an office chair, freedom to move. All these little tactics to get you to admit that you did it, even though they don't necessarily have evidence. They try to make you think you have evidence. And so I felt to me like, and not that this was a bad thing or that I didn't like them for asking that question, but to me it kind of felt like, oh, so you're being a little bit inquisitive, just making sure that they're not my drugs. I don't know why anybody, I guess if you really had a turn of conscience and you were like, I can't do this anymore, and you called in, but yeah, it was an interesting question, and I did mention, because I want to make sure, I definitely don't do drugs, so I did mention last time I got drugs last year, and it was weed, and it smelled so bad even in my pocket. So then he mentioned, they kind of smell like, and he was talking like this. He said, they kind of smell like skunk sometimes, don't they? And I've never really smelled skunk. Well, I kind of have one time. We were driving past a dead one on the freeway. So yeah, I haven't smelled skunk. He was a bit surprised at that. It was a nice, friendly conversation, but I could tell they were asking the types of questions and talking in a certain way to make me feel comfortable. am willing to tell all of the details. And what else? Yeah, just comfortable, willing to tell details, admit to everything if I needed to. And yeah, so I have seen with my own eyes meth. Didn't open it up, didn't smell it, didn't do anything. Well, okay, no. So the bag's only about this tall. I did put it up to my nose, just the outside of the bag, just like for a second, because I was curious if it had a smell. I think that's one way that they can kind of maybe identify that, you know. Some professional, like actual professional people, professional drug testers, they do sometimes taste just a tiny amount, see if they can identify that way if they need to. I didn't do that, obviously I'm not a professional, but I did at least smell it because I was curious if it has a smell. I couldn't smell anything from the outside of that little blue plastic bag. Definitely not like the weed. Weed was in a normal Ziploc bag, 3 little green balls about the size of a marble, small marble, in my pocket, all the way down there. Oh, smelled bad. So, yeah, you won't catch me doing drugs ever. Absolutely horrible. And I forget who this was now, and I might have mentioned it last time. But there was this actor, not like a super well-known actor. You know, he was, I would say, kind of in the middle. You know, medium famous. And I want to say this was in Atlanta, Georgia. If you guys want, let me know in the comments below or however you can contact me, and I will find the source for this. But it's in some book about this actor, right? So he's in Atlanta, Georgia, I think. And they're shooting a movie about a drug addict who's addicted to, I think it was meth. Or maybe it was dope, I forget. But either way, he's supposed to be playing this addicted character. And, well, he's, you know, they're on set and just like out on the city streets filming. And this, I think it was a woman, like an elderly woman, you know, comes over to him and says, "Here, you look like you could use a fix more than I could." And she hands him some drugs. And he called that his street Oscar. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I think someone on Reddit quoted it, and I Googled it and found the book. I didn't read the book or anything. I was just curious about where that quote was from. And so, yeah. But, yep, no drugs for me. Absolutely disgusting. And I've done the right thing today. And I will always do the right thing every single time that I find anything suspicious like that. Calling the cops. Giving it to them. Let them deal with it.